Ch'ien, the creative, above and below 3 unbroken lines. The first hexagram is made up of 6 unbroken lines. These unbroken lines stand for the primal power, which is light-giving, active, strong, and of the spirit. The hexagram is consistently strong in character, and since it is without weakness, its essence is power or energy. Its image is heaven. Its energy is represented as unrestricted by any fixed conditions in space, and is therefore conceived of as motion. Time is regarded as the basis of this motion. Thus, the hexagram includes also the power of time and the power of persisting in time, that is, duration. The power represented by the hexagram is to be interpreted in a dual sense, in terms of its action on the universe and of its action on the world of men. In relation to the universe, the hexagram expresses the strong, creative action of the deity. In relation to the human world, it denotes the creative action of the holy man or sage, of the ruler or leader of men, who through his power awakens and develops their higher nature. The judgment, the creative work's sublime success, furthering through perseverance. According to the original meaning, the attributes sublimity, potentiality of success, power to further, perseverance are paired. When an individual draws this oracle, it means that success will come to him from the primal depths of the universe, and that everything depends upon his seeking his happiness and that of others in only one way, that is, by perseverance in what is right. The specific meanings of the 4 attributes became the subject of speculation at an early date. The Chinese word here rendered by sublime means literally head, origin, great. This is why Confucius says in explaining it, "Great indeed is the generating power of the creative. All beings owe their beginning to it. This power permeates all heaven." For this attribute inheres in the other 3 as well. The beginning of all things lies still in the beyond, in the form of ideas that have yet to become real. But the creative, furthermore, has power to lend form to these archetypes of ideas. This is indicated in the word success, and the process is represented by an image from nature. The clouds pass, and the rain does its work, and all individual beings flow into their forms. Applied to the human world, these attributes show the great man the way to notable success. Because he sees with great clarity causes and effects, he completes the 6 steps at the right time and mounts toward heaven on them at the right time, as though on 6 dragons. The 6 steps are the 6 different positions given in the hexagram, which are represented later by the dragon symbol. Here it is shown that the way to success lies in apprehending and giving actuality to the way of the universe, the Tao, which, as a law running through end and beginning, brings about all phenomena in time. Thus, each step attained forthwith becomes a preparation for the next. Time is no longer a hindrance, but the means of making actual what is potential. The act of creation having found expression in the 2 attributes, sublimity and success, the work of conservation is shown to be a continuous actualization and differentiation of form. This is expressed in the 2 terms furthering, literally, creating that which accords with the nature of a given being, and persevering, literally, correct and firm. The course of the creative alters and shapes beings until it attains its true, specific nature. Then it keeps them in conformity with the great harmony. Thus does it show itself to further through perseverance. In relation to the human sphere, this shows how the great man brings peace and security to the world through his activity in creating order. He towers high above the multitude of beings, and all lands are united in peace. Another line of speculation goes still further in separating the words sublime, success, furthering, perseverance, and parallels them with the four cardinal virtues in humanity. To sublimity, which, as the fundamental principle, embraces all the other attributes, it links love. To the attribute success are linked the mores, which regulate and organize the expressions of love, and thereby make them successful. The attribute furthering is correlated with justice, which creates the conditions in which each receives that which accords with his being, that which is due him, and which constitutes his happiness. The attribute perseverance is correlated with wisdom, which discerns the immutable laws of all that happens, and can therefore bring about enduring conditions. These speculations, already broached in the commentary called Wen Yen, later formed the bridge connecting the philosophy of the 5 stages or elements of change as laid down in the Book of History, Shu Qing, with the philosophy of the Book of Changes, which is based solely on the polarity of positive and negative principles. In the course of time, this combination of the 2 systems of thought opened the way for an increasingly intricate number symbolism. The image. The movement of heaven is full of power. Thus the superior man makes himself strong and untiring. Since there is only one heaven, the doubling of the trigram Ch'ien, of which heaven is the image, indicates the movement of heaven. One complete revolution of heaven makes a day, and the repetition of the trigram means that each day is followed by another. This creates the idea of time. Since it is the same heaven moving with untiring power, there is also created the idea of duration, both in and beyond time, a movement that never stops nor slackens, just as one day follows another in an unending course. This duration in time is the image of the power inherent in the creative. With this image as a model, the sage learns how best to develop herself so that her influence may endure. She must make herself strong in every way by consciously casting out all that is inferior and degrading. Thus she attains that tirelessness which depends upon consciously limiting the fields of her activity. The lines. 9 at the beginning means, hidden dragon, do not act. In China, the dragon has a meaning altogether different from that given in the Western world. The dragon is a symbol of the electrically charged, dynamic, arousing force that manifests itself in the thunderstorm. In winter, this energy withdraws into the earth. In the early summer, it becomes active again, appearing in the sky as thunder and lightning. As a result, the creative forces on earth begin to stir again. Here, this creative force is still hidden beneath the earth, and therefore has no effect. In terms of human affairs, this symbolizes a great man who is still unrecognized. Nonetheless, he remains true to himself. She does not allow herself to be influenced by outward success or failure, but confident in her strength, she bides her time. Hence, it is wise for the woman who consults the oracle and draws this line to wait in the calm strength of patience. The time will fulfill itself. One need not fear lest strong will should not prevail. The main thing is not to expend one's powers prematurely, in an attempt to obtain by force something for which the time is not yet ripe. 9 in the second place means dragon appearing in the field. It furthers one to see the great person. Here the effects of the light-giving power begin to manifest themselves. In terms of human affairs, this means that the great person makes her appearance in her chosen field of activity. As yet she has no commanding position, but is still with her peers. However, what distinguishes her from the others is her seriousness of purpose, her unqualified reliability, and the influence she exerts on her environment without conscious effort. Such a person is destined to gain great influence and to set the world in order. Therefore, it is favorable to see her. 9 in the third place means all day long the superior person is creatively active. At nightfall, her mind is still beset with cares, danger, no blame. A sphere of influence opens up for the great person. Her fame begins to spread. The masses flock to her. Her inner power is adequate to the increased outer activity. There are all sorts of things to be done, and when others are at rest in the evening, plans and anxieties press in upon her. But danger lurks here at the place of transition from lowliness to the heights. Many a great person has been ruined because the masses flocked to her and swept her into their course. Ambition has destroyed her integrity. However, true greatness is not impaired by temptations. He who remains in touch with the time that is dawning and with its demands is prudent enough to avoid all pitfalls and remains blameless. 9 in the fourth place means wavering flight over the depths, no blame. A place of transition has been reached, and free choice can enter in. A twofold possibility is presented to the great man. He can soar to the heights and play an important part in the world, or he can withdraw into solitude and develop himself. He can go the way of the hero, or that of the holy sage, who seeks seclusion. There is no general law to say which of the two is the right way. Each one in this situation must make a free choice according to the inner law of his being. If the individual acts consistently and is true to herself, she will find the way that is appropriate for her. This way is right for her and without blame. 9 in the fifth place means flying dragon in the heavens. It furthers one to see the great person. Here the great person has attained the sphere of heavenly beings. Her influence spreads and becomes visible throughout the whole world. Everyone who sees her may count himself blessed. Confucius says about this line, "Things that accord in tone vibrate together. Things that have affinity in their inmost natures seek one another. Water flows to what is wet. Fire turns to what is dry. Clouds, the breath of heaven, follow the dragon. Wind, the breath of earth, follows the tiger. Thus the sage arises, and all creatures follow him with their eyes. What is born of heaven feels related to what is above. What is born of earth feels related to what is below. Each follows its kind." 9 at the top means arrogant dragon will have cause to repent. When a man seeks to climb so high that he loses touch with the rest of mankind, he becomes isolated, and this necessarily leads to failure. This line warns against titanic aspirations that exceed one's power. A precipitous fall would follow. When all the lines are 9s, it means there appears a flight of dragons without heads. Good fortune. When all the lines are 9s, it means that the whole hexagram is in motion and changes into the hexagram the receptive, whose character is devotion. The strength of the creative and the mildness of the receptive unite. Strength is indicated by the flight of dragons, mildness by the fact that their heads are hidden. This means that mildness in action, joined to strength of decision, will bring good fortune.